Welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Nelson went back, and last week our episode was called Sloppy.
By who?
Well,
who said that?
We'll get to them a little later, maybe.
Okay.
But this one, I can assure everyone, is going to be super tight.
What you just heard was the clean, crisp sound of an iPad playing the intro. So,
and it's working at the moment, so...
yeah.
There's nothing to say it will stop working.
Yeah. Actually, just about that, Cambo.
Yeah.
I don't want to call you an idiot. That would be rude. I don't want to call you a nincompoop.
Yet.
Or a dumb butt. Or a dim bat.
Yep.
Or... help me out here.
A fuck wank.
A fuck wank. But look, I was at home today and you asked me to test the iPad.
Yeah.
And when I turned it on, pressed the button, couldn't hear anything. I was like, oh shit, it's still bad. Mm-hmm. And then I realized there was a volume control on the right side.
Oh, yeah.
It was all the way down. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying that you're those things. But is it possible that the volume was just all the way to the bottom?
No. The reason it was at the bottom...
Yeah, I would say that too.
The reason it was at the bottom, Nelson, if you must know, is last week when it wasn't playing, I was trying to turn it up and down to see whether that was the problem.
Okay.
And evidently I left it back down. But and I wouldn't lie about that.
Yeah.
That's the good thing.
Well, listeners, you be the judge.
Nelson, despite the fact that you both did and didn't just call me an idiot...
I didn't.
But in a way you did.
You said, fuck.
Wank. I want to take you down a trip, down memory lane with you.
Okay.
Because I was rummaging through, we have a shared Dropbox account for this show.
Oh.
And I was rummaging through that, actually just looking for something else. And I came across something.
Uh-oh. Did I accidentally upload my home porn?
Yes.
Which is me playing both
It's
parts.
an audio file, so that would be weird.
Yeah.
If I'm going to play that.
Yeah.
No, it is our intro, the same one that we use, but seemingly like a first draft unpolished version.
Oh.
And I had never ever remember hearing this.
Okay.
Would you like to hear it?
Okay.
Remember that?
No, not at all.
I don't remember it either.
It sounds so much worse.
It sounds like a shitty YouTube cover of our theme. But it must have been us.
Yeah.
Did your brother just polish the absolute shit out of our theme?
Well, funny you should say that, actually. Just this week, it came up in conversation with our family that he did the
theme
intro.
Yeah.
And he's like, I hate that intro.
Really?
I was like, really? I think it's really good. I really like it. And he's like, nah. He's like, and he kind of started talking about other music that he does and anything that he listens back onto that he's done. He's like, I should have done that better.
But does that just mean he hates everything he does?
Yeah. It wasn't specifically the intro.
Yeah. He's normally like, I'm really good, but I dropped the ball when it came to your one.
Oh boy, I must have not cared at all.
Listening to that, it was such a bizarre experience. So I'm like, well, I mean, it is the song. It's got some different bits I don't remember.
Yeah.
And my whispering is much louder.
Yeah.
Far creepier.
There's a very big echo and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was a little trip down memory lane. And by memory lane, I mean neither of us remember it.
We must have been so drunk.
Fun fact about the recording of our theme. We were just plastered.
Yeah. Cameron, I'd like to start talking about something that isn't really related to
Reddit,
what we do at all.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are talking about it.
Okay.
I reckon on the weekend, I had multiple conversations.
Is it the movie Bird Box?
It is not.
Okay.
But close.
Oh.
It's about Bandersnatch.
Right, yes, the Black Mirror Choose Your Own Adventure film.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, well, you're losing.
Are you about to spoil?
You're a fuckwank. Is what I think you are.
Are you about to spoil? We can do a spoiler alert.
I mean, I guess for some
it's hard
parts.
to spoil because there's multiple endings.
Yeah,
we'll just do a blanket spoiler alert. If you haven't watched and you want to skip ahead, 5 minutes maybe.
I don't know. Could be half an hour. I don't know. I have no idea how long we're going to go in this show.
If it's going for a long time, intermittently, I'll yell out again. Still spoiler alert in case you've skipped to that point.
Okay. What if it's only really short and they miss?
Then they're safe. I won't have to scream that.
And they have to rewind. And anyway. So I found it really interesting. One, actually, kind of what you mentioned. I was talking to a friend and they said they were reading an article by a critic, and the critic was like, we don't really know how to
review
this show.
Ours wasn't any good.
Because
but maybe yours was?
Maybe yours was. Maybe. And I think there's this idea that it's like, well, you could, you can go back and see all the endings, but there's even, I haven't seen
maybe
it.
just in case, because I met someone the other day that didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's a movie that has a choose your own adventure element. So on screen, a character will give you a choice and you pick which they are. So just like the old choose your own adventure novels, it can splinter off, and apparently there's thousands of combinations this movie kind of can lead to if you let it.
Yeah, that's right. So you can get multiple different endings.
Yeah.
And actually, that was what I thought was really interesting. So I spoke to my sister, and she was like, I hated it. What was the point of this? She's like, we thought the ending was lame. I think that's what she said. Yeah. And I was like, what ending?
Yeah, which one?
I thought there isn't really one thing. And then it was really interesting talking to her, and I felt like it's so hard to discuss with people because people have a very different interpretation on what the show is actually doing and giving you. Like, to me, there was a lot of different endings.
Yeah.
You can end the movie in 5 minutes.
This is going to be my question. And again, we've said spoiler alert just in case.
Yeah.
But there's a choice early on where you can either choose to work in an office or not work in an office. And when you do choose to work in an office, you fail.
Yeah.
And it ends. Do you think she just got that ending and was like, well, that was crap?
Yeah. It's like, this
only went for 10 minutes.
Anyway, I'll turn this off. No, but I think what's interesting about that is obviously she probably thinks, that's not the ending.
Yeah.
But to me, that is the ending.
Yeah. That's
the ending. That is an ending. That can be that shit.
Yeah.
But and somebody else told me they felt like it led you in all ways. So again, with the spoilers, quick, Camber, yell it out.
Spoiler alert still.
Okay. There is a part where you kill your father, or you're acting on behalf of this person.
You can kill your father if you like.
The interesting thing was, my friend said to me, I don't know, I didn't like it because I felt like it forced you in a direction and you always end up killing your father.
Right.
And again, I was like, no, there are tons and tons of different endings before you kill your father.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, there's lots that lead to the point in which you do.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just found it so interesting that people's perception of what it was, what type of entertainment it was and what it was giving you.
Yeah.
And I find it, I kind of thought that it was okay. I really enjoyed the concept, but I didn't love the storylines. Yeah. But I've loved talking to people about it.
Yeah, me
because
too.
I think it brings up such an interesting perspective of TV.
I think there are times where it does force you to choose something. For example, there was a choice I was given, and the choices were yes and fuck yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, that's true. I did get to that as well, yeah.
Where I'm like,
but we both chose fuck yes, not yes.
Yeah.
And yes could have led to something quite different.
Who knows?
But
because there was things that, based on choices I made, obviously set something up, and then the choices I made means it never paid off.
Yeah.
So there was a section in which I saw a monster.
Yeah.
This monster appeared, and he ran at him, and there's this big like ghoul monster, and then that never ever appeared again.
Yeah.
But I know that it must be there because I made a particular choice, and then didn't make the subsequent choices. In which that would then pay off.
Yeah.
In some kind of way.
Yeah, that's right. And I was talking to my friend who said he looked online and somebody's made a graph of all the endings.
Does it say how many definitive endings?
Don't know.
Right.
Didn't ask the question. Google it. Not now. Just eventually.
Yeah. No Googling in the show. That's a show rule.
And what was interesting, I thought, was he said, so he looked through this and then he was talking to another friend and he was like, oh, what ending did you get?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, well, I went this way. And there's a point where which you can choose a photograph.
Yep.
And occasionally you get to an ending and then it'll come up with a screen that says you can go back.
Yeah.
To like certain different scenes. And he said, so I chose the photo and then I got to some ending and then I went and clicked go back and then I chose the photo again. And then out of nowhere, the author of the book Bandersnatch in the story comes out and stabs you. And he was like, and my friend who looked through that chart said, that wasn't even on the chart. Like somebody had tried to work this out, but to no avail. Like, there's still plenty of endings and that's meant to be a bit more of a secretive one, like, a bit perhaps harder to get to than the others. But I just thought, wow, that's so amazing that it's gone this far.
Here's one of my weird irks with Bandersnatch.
Yeah.
And it's such a pedantic thing. Mm-hmm. But I quite like, I'm a completionist in like when I watch things. And I like on Netflix when you watch them, it gives you a little tick.
Yeah. Right.
But you can't get that with Bandersnatch. Oh. It is never watched. It's only ever being watched.
That son of a
And I know you and I have both watched it, but it still comes up in continue watching. And I'm like, no, it's watched.
All right, Campbell, we're going to sit down tonight. We're going to get every freaking option.
And we're going to graph it.
Yeah, we're going to graph it. But
very dumb thing to be annoyed about. But
I agree.
Because it feels like you're like, no, I did watch it. Give me the tick.
Yeah. But anyway, it's an interesting concept, and if you haven't seen it, then check it out.
Yeah. Spoiler talk is over! No, just in case.
Okay.
Anyway, this podcast is about Reddit.
It's about Reddit. I'm sure somebody posted on Reddit about Bandersnatch, right? It would happen.
Tangential link.
I'm going to credit the Reddit. It was by Funky Pumpkin Pie.
Yep. And the good thing is that name probably definitely exists.
I'm going to try and tag that person afterwards. Okay. So let's get into Reddit on Reddit.
Okay.
This is actually I was going to do another one. Let me quickly. I decided one was pretty shit.
Okay, because you did have one in the show notes ready to go.
Yeah.
And you've now abandoned that.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is the week after our show was called A Hot Mess and Sloppy.
Well, I didn't say that it wasn't. Okay. This was in the subreddit, Would You Take the Deal?
Okay.
And
which is not dissimilar to the subreddit that you were going to use, which was $10 million but.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. I mean, not that interesting.
Not that interesting, I guess. Okay, this is by Machita 2. Or Machita. I think it's Machita 2. Okay, would you take the deal? You get to live in a city of 100,000 people who all find you charming and attractive.
Yeah.
But it's located in the Arctic Circle and you have to live there for at least 5 years.
No.
Okay.
What
I guess I'll go back to my $1 million butt question.
I guess the appeal of this is that you're liked, I guess. I mean, actually, no, it depends on the city. Like, is this an Arctic city or is it a fully functioning modern city? It just happens to be in the Arctic
really
Circle.
cold. Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Okay.
Like, is it similar to Melbourne where it has all the shops and whatever that I would like and I can get, at the moment, if I want to leave the house, I can pretty much buy anything I want.
Yeah.
There is something around that I could do that. Or is it like one of those small Alaskan villages where things are going to be kind of limited? That is really what would clench it for me. Also, what do I do as a job? Do I have to work? If I could take 5 years off, I'd do that.
I mean, if everybody finds you charming, they might find it charming if you keep asking for money. You know, you're like, hey, Dave, can I have another $20? Like, here you go, buddy.
You're so charming and attractive.
Yeah.
And everyone says so.
Yeah. Okay, you're right, because I definitely wouldn't even consider taking the deal if it was in some, like, deserted, like, non-existent.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Like, it might be like one of those, there's those cities in the middle of the desert in Dubai, but it doesn't feel like you're in the middle of a desert in Dubai because they've just built it up into a city.
Yeah.
If it's that
Las Vegas is in the middle of a desert. So
yeah, if it's that kind of a situation,
yeah,
maybe. But if it's just a crappy,
okay,
I don't want to say crappy because I've never been there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, first of all, there's not cities in the Arctic Circle, so what am I talking about? Who am I insulting?
We don't know. We haven't been there. Can't be. So there could be. Could be a raging city that everybody's keeping secret.
Some kind of...
And there's elves.
Similar to how, like in Black Panther, Wakanda is a secret city that no one knows about.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a city.
Yeah. I mean, isn't Santa there?
Oh, yeah, 'cause that's how he makes all the toys.
Exactly.
It's an industrial city.
He's got 100,000 people there. Or 100,000 elves.
Yeah, maybe that's the trick once you get there.
That's the catch.
And it just shows whether you're prejudiced or not. You're like, oh, elves. You're like, what's wrong with elves? You're like, oh, nothing, I guess.
But they obviously find that charming anyway, even though you're blatantly racist. They're like,
he has different views.
God, what are you gonna do? Oh, isn't he the best? Okay, so
what are the pros?
Pros are, I'd like the idea of being able to do whatever I want with no consequence.
Yeah.
I feel like...
So you think you could get away with
if this
stuff?
is a magical spell...
Yeah.
And everybody thinks I'm charming, I'd be naked all the time. No, I wouldn't. The Arctic Circle would be freezing.
Here's the thing, like, it's people being charming. For instance, O.J. Simpson is pretty charming.
Yeah.
But he still went to prison for a crime.
So they don't have to like you.
But like no one was doubting that O.J. Simpson was a very charming man. That's why he was such a famous athlete. And why he was in movies and everything like that, because he was so charming.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, but then he did murder those people.
Yeah. Well,
so
did he get murdered? I mean, he got off.
As charming as you are, to prison with you.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So you're saying people don't have to like you, but they could.
Well, you're saying because they said they find you charming and attractive. But you're talking as if it's some kind of like,
all right,
immunity to crime.
Yeah. That's true. Okay, so I'm leaning towards no.
Right.
But 100,000 people, there's going to be some pretty attractive, ladies there.
Right. So
they find me attractive.
So for instance, you could download Tinder on your phone.
Oh my God, get all matches.
Just matches galore.
Just matching all the time.
Yeah.
Except that same sort of thing where it's like, maybe I'm charming and whatnot, but I play Dungeons and Dragons, and they're like, oh, he's charming, but he does that.
You know who's
stuff.
charming?
He's
People that are friends. People that are just friends with attractive girls.
Yeah.
They're charming.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not taking this deal. This is a stupid deal. Why would I take this deal?
So originally the appeal was you thought you could live some kind of criminal life and sleep with beautiful women.
Yep.
But you're now realizing that you would be punished for your crimes.
Many are flaw
And just
in
because
this
someone
plan.
finds you charming doesn't mean they'll sleep with you.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know why anybody would take this deal. This was a stupid one.
Yeah.
We should have done the $1 million butt question. All right. Well, let's move on.
All right.
To Ask Reddit.
Okay. Now, this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
Yeah. Well, we've already used it twice.
But this is the point at which it failed.
Oh, okay.
Last time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm about to press the button.
Okay.
Let's all pray that we hear a theme.
Ask Reddit.
That was actually me reenacting the theme.
No.
The iPad is broken.
Okay.
But I'll do my best to reenact them as well as I can.
Pretty good. You got way better since last week.
Thank you.
I'm just going to put it out there. Alrighty. This Ask Reddit is by... this is by Spit or Swallow. What can't you believe people spend their money on?
We've had this question before, Nelson.
I thought we might have had
because
this
our
before.
answer was crystals.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was. All right, I've got backups.
Okay, good. Hang on. Let's go again.
This Ask Reddit is by Goldie62.
Yeah.
What commercial did you dislike so much that you now avoid the product?
An argument can be made for Gillette razors, could it not?
Do you know what? I didn't see that ad. I didn't.
It's fine, Nelson. I don't know what people are so angry about.
Can you explain to me, and also maybe some of the listeners who haven't seen it? I don't know why. Yeah. I always feel like I've never gone past it on a feed of any kind in which I can just press a play button, right? Uh-huh. But I have no desire to be like search out the ad and watch it. But so can you explain
I had to search it out because I'd heard so much about it.
Yeah.
Look, it's nothing. It's an ad. So the tagline for Gillette is the best a man can get, right? That's always been their tagline.
Yeah.
And this ad shows, it's kind of like the concept like boys will be boys, and it shows some kids fighting in a playground.
Yeah.
And a guy like wolf whistling at a woman and whatnot. And it says, men are kind of like, they kind of grow into the men that father them.
Yeah.
And then it kind of intercuts all this stuff with then the kids fighting on the ground and the dad's being like, bloody boys, eh?
Yeah.
And one of the dad goes, oh, no, stop fighting. And then the guy wolf whistles and his friend goes, hey, come on, man, that's not appropriate.
Yeah.
And then it says, Gillette, the best the man can be. And it's essentially saying, look, there's a lot of things out there about toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
That's the basis of the ad.
Okay.
But many men have felt very attacked.
Yeah.
Saying, well, Gillette assumes that we're all monsters. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
They're saying that if you see something, just call it out. So
men are idiots.
They're so dumb, Nelson. The ad is so fine. It's actually crazy how fine it is.
I saw a response. There was a Facebook post of a guy. You might have seen this. It was a guy.
Sorry, you mean Reddit post?
And yep. It was a guy with his family in front of him, like young kids, I'm going to say under 10. Uh-huh. And they're all holding a gun, and including him. And he was saying like, oh, the Gillette ad can't tell how my family can act.
Right.
Or something. And then somebody at the bottom said, Gillette's message, like, be a nice guy. Yeah. And your message, don't take my guns.
That's the thing. Their message is don't be a dick. And many people have been like, what? I will be a dick. You can't tell me not to be a dick.
Yeah, that's right. It seems just so stupid. I'm glad that you told me that, because I don't feel like I am missing out by looking at the ad. Like, it's not.
It's the most sanitized, safe. I don't get what the controversy is. Other than they're like, well, some men are dickheads, call them out.
Yeah.
And some men are dickheads.
Yeah. And I'm going to say a lot of men are dickheads.
A lot of them.
We're breaching majority, honestly.
Yes.
In fact, I remember talking to a friend of ours who works in the police area, and they were speaking to a cop who said that they were scared to have kids.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want a male kid, because they just said all the crimes ever that they've ever dealt with, and police deal with like horrific shit all the time, right? I feel like we have a blinded view of what police probably deal with, but they see a lot of dead bodies, a lot of murder and all these horrible things. And he just said, it's always men. It's always men. Men are the worst.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting, coming from another guy who is obviously probably not as bad as the people he's seen witness do these like horrible crimes.
Yeah.
But he's just like, statistically, we're just the worst.
I saw I don't even remember what forum it was on, but it was a forum thing. And someone had made the point, well, every war ever has been started by men.
Yeah.
And someone was like, oh yeah? What about the Battle of Troy? You know, that was Helen of Troy. It's like, no, that was two men fighting over Helen of Troy. She didn't start that war.
Who said that? That's the
some
dumbest
idiot on the
that's
internet.
the dumbest comeback ever. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Two men with just so hell-bent over
Two
one
men
woman.
literally treating a woman like an object. Hey, she's mine. Give her back.
No, she's mine. I'll fucking fight you for it.
I'll fight you for 100 years. Jesus.
Yeah, pretty stupid.
But also, if you're scared of that, just and if you have a boy, don't raise him to be a dick.
Yeah,
It's pretty simple.
that's true.
Yeah.
I think that genetically we are like sort of pushing against the grain there.
Oh,
You know?
yeah. And
that's why it's hard.
Like we're born kind of maybe more...
We're born to be assholes,
Right.
I think.
or just like emotionally charged in the wrong way.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was a nicer way to put it.
Yeah.
That we're all assholes. Yeah. Anyway, what other ads do you not want to buy the product of because of... Okay, I'm going to give
Any local ad.
any
local ad I've
Really?
ever seen.
You just don't like it?
Name a good local ad.
I like the one where the guy's like, hey, check out my car. And the other guy's like, oh, cool. What dealer did you get that from?
I went to the local neighborhood dealer.
Yeah. Okay, that's a fair point. I am banning from my life only just recently. I don't know whether you've seen this. We don't have normal TV, so I feel like we don't see.
I mean, we have a normal
ads.
TV.
And we have normal TV.
We don't watch.
It's not like
free to wear TV.
It's not like lemons powering some sort of weird light board.
Yeah, it's like a Samsung or something.
Yeah. Anyway, there's this ad, and it's for AutoTune, just a car place, Australian car fixing place. And it's got Charlie Sheen in it.
Oh.
And what it is these girls, very attractive, 4 girls in a hot pink buggy, and they drive off the end of a dock.
Yeah.
They're screaming as they do it, and go straight into the water.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Charlie Sheen's on a boat.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, hotties!"
Right.
And then they get on the boat, climb on the boat, and he's like, "Oh, my lucky day."
Right.
And then one girl's like, do you have a phone? And he's like, oh, selfie time. And then she grabs it off him and she goes, no. And then she calls AutoTune because her car is in the fucking ocean. And then that's the thing. It's just Charlie Sheen being a massive sleaze.
Yep.
And
Also, you would think he would stop playing up the sexed up Playboy thing since he revealed he was HIV positive.
yeah.
Because that's a real downer about the whole sex situation. That's how he got himself in that situation.
Yeah, that's right. You should at least have a caveat of him, like a very obvious scene in the ad of him pulling out condoms.
Yeah,
or something.
like, I'll be safe with this one.
I'll be safe, but I still don't respect women.
I've got an experiment because I think that is false advertising. And what we should do, we should buy a beat up old car.
Yeah.
And we'll drive it into the ocean.
Yeah.
And then we'll call AutoTune and say, help.
You'll never believe it. The exact thing in your ad happened to us.
And we saw this in the ad. This is obviously what they do.
Your specialty, if anything.
Otherwise, why would you show that?
Yeah.
Please get it out of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, boy. It's just such a shit.
Again, if we ever start a Patreon, these are the kind of things that they would fund.
Yeah, that's right.
What are you going to do with the money? We're going to drive a car into the ocean and call AutoTune.
It's the idea. Got anything wrong with that? Cool. Radio. Here's another one.
Okay.
Camber.
Yep.
If this is by Grillin. Or Krillin. Anyway. If animals could talk, which would be the rudest?
Oh, probably cats. Because cats are quite rude now.
Yeah.
Without saying it, they just give you stink eye all the time.
I think they are the rudest but I think that they wouldn't talk. Like, they can convey everything they need to right now without speech.
Right.
I feel like if they had the ability to talk, they just wouldn't.
Yeah, no, all they would do is go,
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You'd be like,
disappointing.
"Go, come here, kitty. Oh, you cute little kitty." And then you're like,
Okay. I think sloths.
You reckon? I pictured them as like real stoners.
Yeah.
I thought they were like, "Hey man, what's up?"
I think that's why they'd be so rude.
But stoners aren't rude. They're just lethargical.
No, it'd be like, hey, can
Lethargical is
you...
not a word. Lethargic.
Much better.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I feel like that, you'd be like, hey, can you pass the TV remote? And they'd be like, no.
Yeah, I can see that, right?
That's just rude.
Yeah. You know who seem like bastards? Wombats.
They do seem like bastards.
There's something about them.
Yeah.
There's got a real attitude about them.
The way they waddle.
The way they waddle.
Sons of bitches.
And people outside of Australia might not know this, but they're 110% muscle.
Yeah.
So if you hit a wombat with your car, your car comes off worse.
Yeah.
And then the wombat's just like, oh, you son of a bitch, and it keeps walking.
Yeah.
I reckon they'd just be crotchety old men. That's what I think wombats are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. You could probably shoot one with a shotgun and it'd be like, oh.
Oh, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Don't test that.
Yeah.
Don't go out shooting wombats with a shotgun.
And then tell people that you heard it on this show.
They said it would be fine. It exploded.
A million pieces of wombat went everywhere. Oh my God, I'm so traumatized. You know what would be annoying in animal talk would be birds.
Right.
Like, you can hear them at the moment, but not being able to understand them, I think, is a blessing at the moment. I feel like...
Well, what do you think they're talking about?
I'd be like, hey, who wants to bang? I'm free. Have sex with me.
Yeah, I guess a lot of...
Check my feathers out.
A lot of birds do have mating calls.
Yes, a lot of mating calls.
like, fucking! Who's up for some fucking?
Yeah, that's right. And it happens so early in the morning, too.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Morning sex, it can be fun.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. All right. Let's get on to Today I Learned. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Let's play the intro to that. Today I Learned. This Today I Learned is by Loctherian. Today I learned that the town of Honiton, UK, has a Hot Penny Day, a parade where children collect thrown coins. The tradition was purportedly started by wealthy people whom would heat pennies on a stove, throw them into the streets, and laugh at the peasants burning their fingers while picking them up.
Oh, it's such a crusty old British man thing to do, isn't it? Oh, look at them scavenge. Oh, very good.
Oh, he knows it's hot, but he keeps going for it. Oh, they're so desperate. I think...
Quick, let's go smoke some opium.
I think this is why we should start our Patreon. I think it would be funny.
Yeah.
Not to not to underprivileged people. Just to anybody.
Just anyone.
I think it's funny.
Heat up some pennies, throw them on the ground.
Like, we'll do dollar coins. We'll make it worth their while.
I was going to say, because if someone dropped, because a penny is what, a cent, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a cent. Mm-hmm. I was just in America. They have pennies. I should know this. I'm pretty sure it's a cent.
I remember going over to America and being very confused by their coin system.
All I'll say about the coin system, which is mostly rubbish, I like a quarter. Quarter's a good idea.
Is it because...
Makes sense. Quarter of a dollar.
Yeah.
Get 4 of them, you get $1. Anyway, that's not my point.
I mean, we got 20 cents. It's 5 cents off. 5 of them, you got $1.
But
less coin.
I like that. I like that it's divided evenly, I guess.
Okay. I mean, 20 is still divided evenly into 100. But one less coin.
My point
you
is,
like getting to $1 with exactly 4 coins, is what you're saying.
But if something is $1.25,
yeah,
it's $1.25.
But then if it's $1.20, then you're like, oh, damn it.
We're going to get 5 pennies.
Yeah, I'm going to get 5 pennies back.
Or a dime. Anyway, my point is, I guess the equivalent to a penny is for us is a 5-cent coin.
Yeah.
I would never pick that up in a million years.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
So you're right. It would need to be $1.
Yeah, at least $1.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll just try with, 10 cents first. And if that doesn't do it,
what would I pick up? I might pick up a 50.
Yeah. I'd pick up a 50.
Yeah.
For
okay,
sure.
so we could probably half our investment by doing it with 50s.
Yeah. And you, as a Patreon, get to witness the footage.
Yeah. Oh, no, I feel like they can come and join us throwing hot 50-cent coins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I feel like
obviously you have to, all travelers on you.
Yeah. We're not going to fly over here, mate.
No expenses paid.
No, wait, we will. But that's the $1 million Patreon level.
You fly economy.
Yeah, that's right. You pay $1 million, we'll fly you economy, get you over here. And we book your trip way in advance so we get the cheapest ticket possible.
You leave at 2 a.m.
Yeah. Okay. So, what I was going to say is, if you were rich, how would you screw with poor people?
I wouldn't.
I mean, not real poor people.
Yeah, not the homeless.
Not the homeless.
But
that's
like,
rude.
What by poor people in the rich people perspective is average people.
Yeah, like us.
Yeah.
Like if we all of a sudden got rich, how would you screw with people like us? And I know, okay, maybe you still wouldn't. It's not the point, all right? We're rich. All our morals have just gone completely.
I'm not sure, but in the meantime, let me tell you an amusing story about how a rich person screwed with another rich person.
Okay.
So there is a feud. I've forgotten who's involved. There's a feud with 50 Cent and I'll just say Diddy. I don't know if that's who.
Sure.
But
Diddy Kong?
I think
from Donkey Kong?
I actually think it might be Ja Rule. Anyway,
okay.
I think it's Ja Rule. And apparently 50 Cent one time, just to get at Ja Rule, brought out the first 4 rows of his concert.
Yeah.
And just left them empty.
That's
so
awesome.
when he came out, there was just empty rows before any of the crowd. And he kind of had to play to no one.
That's awesome.
That's good.
I have thought about that, actually. I don't even know in what context. Like, obviously, I've hated somebody a lot that does concerts. I can't even think of the one person right now. Maybe it was
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown?
Yeah, he beats women. You don't want to go to his concert.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But it can't be somebody you hate too much because you're still giving them money.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
I feel like it's somebody that you just have to be like,
I don't know, Phil Collins.
I'm mildly, I'm mildly disinterested in this person enough to just annoy them. But
teetering to not like.
Yeah, teetering to not like.
Yeah.
But on the border.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be brilliant just to buy half the stage. Still enough so that they have to do the show.
Yeah.
But to people that are just real far back.
Do you think? Okay, could you find out one of our normal friends, our poor friends, is going to a movie and they're going to go to a gold class session.
Yeah.
So then we book out all the other seats and leave them empty, and then we pay all the employees to keep serving invisible people instead of them, and they're trying to get their attention. Like, sorry, I'm just with these people at the moment. I'll be right with you, and I want them to think they're crazy.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's a good idea because with enough money, you can make somebody think they're crazy.
Like put food down on their tables, then come back and oh, someone was a bit hungry, weren't they?
The trick really would be is that when they put food on the invisible people's table. You quickly swap it out when they're not paying attention with food that's half eaten so that, they can at least see the progress. They're like, oh my God, people are here. I'm totally insane.
It would also be good to, this is kind of a treat, and I think it seems like a treat, but people don't realize how annoying this would actually be. So say our friends are going to the cinema and they're going to watch Glass.
Yeah.
And you book out all the other seats, but then you pay M. Night Shyamalan to sit next to them and explain the movie as it's happening. Just like a director's commentary you can't turn off. It's funny story about this. Let me, I'm trying to watch the movie.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
And I reckon M. Night Shyamalan would do it for a dime because I've heard it's not a great film. And he probably wants to distract people while they're watching it if he had the option.
Yeah, that's true. Don't think about it too much. Look at me. Well, I'm doing magic tricks.
He's like, pick a card, pick a card.
And then they come out and be like, class was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell everyone class was fun. It's like, good. I'm going to be in the next session.
Yeah, I'm going to do that for
one
next.
by one. I will convert people.
Yeah. All right, let's do another one.
Okay.
This is by Hov1. Today I learned that Today I learned that homework was considered hugely controversial in the 1800s and early 1900s, when physicians crusaded against it. In 1901, California even banned homework for anyone under the age of 15.
And dear listener, you will notice that we've never once given you homework.
Yeah.
Because we're merciful like that.
Yeah.
On the podcast, they'll give you homework.
Yeah.
They don't talk about it much, but they'll give you homework.
We've given you fun after work activities.
Yeah. That is due by a certain day.
This is due by a certain day. But we have never given you homework.
Yeah. What did you think of homework when you were at school?
I thought homework was the pits.
I never did it at home.
Yeah. I don't think I ever did it at home.
Yeah.
I also felt like I very much could have controlled that because I feel like I don't remember getting heaps of homework when I was younger.
Yeah.
But it'd be
like there's an essay due in 3 months, and you could do it at school if you really try.
Yeah.
But if you need to take it home because you're too lazy, then you take it home.
Yeah, that's right. That was often me. It was like, your homework is to finish what everybody else did in class while you were playing Nintendo DS.
Homework seems to me that it was born out of a teacher that couldn't work out a semester schedule.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're meant to be further ahead by now.
Yeah.
Do it at home because you need to know this by the test.
Yeah. You are
and
failing.
We don't have enough class. You guys got to do it at home. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got nothing else for you.
Yeah, it's good. It made me made me think of the because I feel like there's a push on education recently to change drastically.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was talking to a teacher friend of mine just recently, and she was talking about how the way that schools work at the moment, at least obviously in Australia, is teachers have to work to a certain standard, and they are now getting assessed by other teachers. Like, schools don't run the same way as when I was a kid, at least primary school, right? Where it was like you had a teacher for the whole year and that was like it.
Yeah.
There's like a way now where teachers rotate and teachers do different things. I had 1 year where that happened actually. That was because one of the teachers had cancer and the other one was in semi-retirement, so they split.
Right.
But it wasn't to do with like bettering the education of the classroom.
Yeah.
And there's like, all these standards that teachers have to reach now, and they're really like scrutinized. Like, I was like, God damn, I needed that when I was in school. I remember just some of the horrible things like my teachers used to do just because they were shit, you know?
Do you have any examples?
I remember when I was in like maybe grade 1, we had a teacher who would, when we got like out of control, she used to threaten that there was a lion in the cupboard.
What?
And we were younger, right? And it wasn't a jovial thing. It was like, I will fucking release this lion.
I'll get the fucking lion if you don't all settle down, you little shit.
And she used to hit the cupboard as if like stirring the lion.
That's so
like,
weird.
I get it out. And then like, I feel like maybe by the end of the year, we worked out that there wasn't a lion in there because she'd occasionally open it up. And every time she did, she had to like kind of pretend like she was holding back a lion, and then she'd come out with colored paper. I think after a while we were like, why aren't they all shredded by the lion?
Now in the 2019 version of this, when they're being assessed at the 3-month point, and she's like, all right, so obviously stationery is here. That's the lion cupboard.
Yeah.
The what? Yeah, the lion cupboard.
Yeah.
What I do is I threaten the kids that they'll be mauled to death by a lion. Then I tell them I keep in this cupboard. And they'll be like, I'm glad we caught this 3 months in.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it wasn't as well oiled as it was now. But there's also those things called the Steiner schools. Have you heard of those?
Yep. So down the street from our primary school was a Steiner school.
Oh, right.
And all we knew about them was that's where the weird kids went.
Right. Yeah. See, I love the idea of those now, which is just like kids essentially get to decide what they want to be taught.
Yeah.
To some degree. And I think that it probably doesn't work for primary school as much.
Yeah.
But I think maybe like late primary school, you probably transition into it.
Yeah.
Because I always think when I was in high school, I didn't really like learning. But I don't think it was that I didn't like learning for myself. It was because I was forced to learn.
Yeah.
Because I'm more interested in learning now that I'm older.
Me too.
And I don't feel like it has probably ever inherently changed in me. Like, learning new things it can be interesting, but I feel like when it's forced upon you, you're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
So
I think there needs to be some kind of balance between the two because, for instance, you and I, we're not motivated. So if people don't force us to learn certain things, we never would, and that might impede us later in life. So then there would need to be a point where they're like, you need to know the basics of maths.
Yeah.
Because I hated maths in high school. I hated it so much.
Right, yeah.
So I'm glad that someone's like, I don't care that you hate it.
Yeah.
Learn fractions.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll be handy. And I'm glad that I have that knowledge, even if I don't use it that much.
Yeah.
But if I was to be able to choose, I think that I would have dug myself into a huge hole and been not qualified for anything either.
Okay.
So I vote for some kind of marriage between the two.
Between the two, yeah. Well, that's why I think like maybe it's that. See, I wonder whether you would actually just be more inherently interested in maths though, if you had the choice to.
What if they refuse to teach it to me?
Yeah, and you're like, no, please.
Can I learn some maths? No, not you. Yeah. Oh, why? No, go home and research on the internet.
Yeah, I'm going to math the shit out of these people. No, because I always think like you wouldn't escape the, like Steiner schools still have the social aspect of like peer pressure and stuff as well. I actually feel like there would be this culture that's built up that's like, really? You don't study maths? Like other kids would be like, only idiots don't study maths. So then you might just sort of be like, okay, I will because I'm peer pressured into it. You know, like maybe there's that side of things that, I don't know, that is more likely to work than it just being part of the curriculum that you have to learn.
And what if, Nelson, we use our Patreon money?
Yeah.
Whatever's left after we've drove that car into an ocean and threw coins at people.
I've checked the balance. We've still got plenty.
Okay. We start our own school. But we implement some reverse psychology. Because here's the thing about when you're going through adolescence and puberty. Is you're kind of impressionable and you want to fit in and you want to be accepted, right?
Yeah.
Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
So we'll be like, I was going to teach you kids about the Russian Revolution, but I don't know, you don't seem cool. No. And then they'll really want to learn about Russian revolutions. Yeah. And we'll be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I taught these other kids, but that was so cool.
Yeah, they were real cool.
No.
or like...
If I teach it to you, honestly, you better listen because... all I'm saying is it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Or I'm not gonna teach to you. I'm gonna leave these books here on the table all about Russian Revolution. You better not read them.
And I'm gonna go to the bathroom about 20 minutes.
I think.
And you nerds just sit there. You just sit there and do nothing. Go on Facebook.
How far do we go with this? Like, do we start teaching them about like smoking's bad? So we force them to smoke.
We use the tactic of like you smoke so much that you won't want to smoke anymore.
Yeah. Or no, just be like, you need to smoke and say, and
you're not
like,
cool enough to quit smoking.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I bet you'd say no to drugs.
Yeah. See, it's gonna work.
Yeah.
We'll be millionaires.
And then here's the gamble with this, because at the end of the year we'd have to be like, don't show up for the test. But then potentially we don't have any students in our test, and then I imagine that is some kind of prerequisite to get funding. Test results?
Yeah, I think generally that's what. I mean, if you're a private school, not so much. But then nobody's going to pay you money to send their kids there. I heard you guys only had a 20% turn up to the exams.
Why is that? Funny thing. We did tell them not to go.
I know that sounds crazy, but we've been telling them to not study all year.
You know what? Your kid knows heaps about Russian revolutions, and I told him not to do that either. So I'll tell you, kid's a nerd.
All right, Cambo, let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought is by Belly Bell. Girls don't compliment guys because they're likely to take it non-platonically. Guys take it non-platonically because it happens so infrequently they don't know how to handle it.
Do you think this is true?
I think
do you think the girls don't compliment you?
Well, I think that probably guys and girls equally don't compliment each other as much. Like, I'm sure I get compliments from girls from, like, the things I'm wearing or something.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like whenever I wear a new shirt, someone, a co-worker at work, will always be like, "Oh, that's a nice shirt." Or something like that, you know. But I'm never like,
wants to get in my pants.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm sure there are guys that do get their wires crossed like that. And I'm sure there's girls that get their wires crossed like that.
Yeah, I just thought it was, I thought this was really strange that it was very much singling out girls complimenting guys and guys always taking it as a non-platonic.
Every time.
And I just thought, it's not, I don't really feel that way. And I feel like probably there's some truth to it, and maybe it can feel a bit, not non-platonic, but maybe there's like a ulterior motive or something sometimes because I think it's not all that natural that people are throwing out compliments all the time.
Yeah.
So you might sort of get the idea of like, why is this person maybe complimenting me? Perhaps.
So I even have an example of this from it was a panel show in the UK, and it's a satirical news show. Yeah. So they make up headlines and they present it like it's the news, and they actually did a satirical thing about this.
Oh yeah.
And because I saw some of the show notes and I thought this is exactly what the satirical news thing was doing, and I have a little bit of it here, so I'm going to play it. So it's read at a news desk as if
wait.
Yeah,
you read the show notes,
some of them
beforehand,
up to 3 of them
so far. If that's the case, you've been doing woeful. Like for somebody that should be more prepared.
No, okay, so
this better bloody take off.
So people, I think, would know that I always look at the questions before we start. And this, I just saw this on my way because it's kind of highlighted this one, if I'm correct. It stands out more than others. So I had read it on my way down.
Okay.
But yeah, I have a clip from this satirical news show that I think summarizes this point pretty well.
An attractive 32-year-old woman believes a man is her friend. Single Joanna Kramer sees her relationship with Wayne Hayes, also single, as being a straightforward mates type situation that both of them are fine with. Emma Bradford is at the scene for us.
Susan, can a man and a woman ever really be friends? The answer, of course, is yes, but one of those friends will definitely be in a constant state of forlorn emotional calamity.
Well, yeah, I love that idea that like it is just accepted that guys cannot be friends with a girl.
yeah, that's right.
They'll always be in love with them no matter what.
Yeah. Well, I throughout my life, I think I've had more girlfriends than guys. Yeah. Because I keep getting friend zoned. No, but even so I have a really good friend. She's my best friend for a long time, Nicola. Yeah. And we
obviously she listens to the show.
Probably not.
She doesn't. She told me.
And so there was a period of time where everybody just thought we were like, we either should date or we were dating, we were sleeping with each other or something. And it's really weird for me and her when people talk about it once. Like, I remember I went to a music festival with her once, and she hooked up with a guy, and then she told me later on, he was like, oh, hey, do you think Nelson will mind? Because maybe, you know, and she's like, what? No, shut up. And then apparently later on, he kind of brought it up again, like, oh,
really?
nice. Nelson's like a nice guy. I feel really bad. And she's like, what? This isn't.
Here's the thing. I know that she's getting married soon.
Yeah,
Do you think that her fiance...
He has.
Has he?
Yeah. I was going to say, even her fiance has previously thought that
You wouldn't be okay with it.
that I wouldn't be okay with it. When they first got together, he was like, oh, I don't know. That's actually maybe a bit of a longer story because her fiance slept with my ex-girlfriend.
Oh, really?
Not that long after the relationship ended. So maybe he felt a little bit even more under pressure to not piss me off or something. But yeah, it's been, it's sort of funny, I think, how people just presume that you can't have a relationship with her.
Well, whose shower thought was that?
Belly Bell.
It's bad. You're in the bid, mate.
You're in the bin. Got it. This is by Max13811.
Okay.
If you're feeling useless, Gotham has a police department.
You know what? They're doing the best they can. There's psychopaths that live there.
Are they? Yeah, well, I mean,
You know who I blame is the people that guard Arkham Asylum. Because the
They're
police
rubbish.
arrest them
They're
and they
rubbish.
take them to the asylum and then they get out again.
They get out again.
I think the police aren't to blame.
And then isn't it the government like booster, like spend more money on security?
Because all I really know of the police is Commissioner Gordon, and he seems to be doing a bloody fine job in trying circumstances. You know what I mean?
I
think
who's working with
who's this one? What's this guy's name?
I think
Max 18 whatever.
No, it was Max13811.
Leave him alone, all right?
No. If you think about it, Commissioner Gordon is leaning on a vigilante to clean up the mess. He's like, hey, I've got a hot tip for you.
Yeah.
And he sends Batman on his way rather than doing police work and again fixing it himself.
Do you think like a sergeant will run in and you're like, Commissioner, I've got this report of this crime, this drug deal going down on the docks.
Yeah.
Shall I brief the men? He's like, no. Give them to me.
Yeah.
And then he goes up to the roof. He's like, Batman, I could have sent a squad and done this by the book.
Yeah.
But I'm going to send you in.
In fact, I think if anything, the police in Gotham are laughing. They're like, the sergeant walks in, he's like, oh, hey, we got another drug bust.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, should we go out? And he's like, no, we know we're just going to get Batman. And they sit inside and they drink whiskey.
So, okay, I didn't consider it this way. I thought they were saying they're pointless because there's so much crime and there's so many crazy people. But they're saying they're pointless because Batman does everything for them.
Batman does everything. It'd be the most craziest job in the world.
That's true. So in that way, I guess they are kind of pointless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I yelled at that guy, Max.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Good.
You made a bloody good point there.
I'm glad you've taken that back. Okay, let's do maybe one or two more. Okay. This one's by Saga7508. You don't realize how violent a game is until your mum watches you play it.
That is my mum has never watched me play any game ever.
I was going to say, you maybe you haven't played games as much, but
I mean, I used to play games when I was young, but my mum is so disinterested in them. And she'd be like, oh, you're playing a game.
Them or you and your hobbies.
A bit of both. You notice that she moved quite a far way away from me.
Yeah.
We used to live together. And then she's like, anyway, I'm moving further away.
Anyway.
And you're not coming.
Our proximity is way too close. But I thought this was funny because I haven't really had this problem so much with my parents. Like, I think that by the time I was playing games where I'm like shooting and killing people, I was maybe old enough for them to just be like, whatever, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But I will never forget this one time.
Right.
I was home sick from school. My mum was home. And I was lying on the couch and I was watching a DVD, and it was Team America.
Right.
And
there's a little bit of effing and jeffing in that one.
Yes.
Some puppet on puppet sexual intercourse.
Well, funny you say that.
Right.
That is the exact moment. The exact moment my mum walked into the lounge room. And this is how it played out, right? I'm watching, she comes in. I've also got the doona over me, so I feel like, maybe...
And you had an itchy leg.
Yeah, it was really itchy. And she goes, oh, what are you doing? You're meant to be home from school. You shouldn't be watching this. You're sick. What are you doing? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, what else am I meant to do? I've been sleeping all day. I'm just going to watch this. And she's like, oh, well, like, where did you get this from? And I go, I was on the coffee table. And she goes, oh, really? And whose is it? And I was like, oh, no. I said, it's my brother's first. Yeah. And she goes, oh, so did you take it out of his room? I was like, no, it's just on the coffee table. I just put it in. And later on that night, I realized as she tells my brother and dad while I'm there, Nelson was watching porn. And I was like, wait, no. I can see how you thought that. But luckily, my dad knew of Team America. Yeah. And I think he actually even sort of thought it was funny. And I was like, it was just the sex scene in Team America. It was so ridiculous. Like, if she actually bothered to look at the screen, she would have realized how ridiculous it was.
Because you always think of your parents as, your mother at least, is quite innocent.
Yeah.
So you would presume probably not watched much porn. Yeah. And she'd be like, he was watching porn. It was disgusting. They were grinding on each other. Their strings were going everywhere. Yeah. And all the guys would be like, what?
How do I get my hands on this porn? But yeah, that was the worst.
Yeah, that's pretty
I was like, because for a whole day she just thought I was watching porn.
And you were pretty
in the lounge, and I was so blasé about it.
What? Mom, what?
Trying to watch some porn here. and then that's when I thought back to all the questions she asked me.
Right.
Whose is it? It's my brother's. Oh, did you get it from his room? No, it was just on the coffee table.
Yeah. So he's blatantly watching porn in the lounge room. Yeah. The other one blatantly just leaving it out in the lounge room. Yeah. What kind of roadhouse am I running?
Yeah. I've failed in bringing up my children. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's move on.
Okay.
To a segment I like to call Podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped!
Podnapping.
This segment is where we steal another segment from another podcast that we've been listening to throughout the week.
Yep.
Or topic of conversation.
Yep.
And it's your week.
It is my week. But what I've done is I've taken someone else's. So we had a listener of the show, a listener called Stacy.
Oh.
Yeah. Not my girlfriend, a different Stacy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she said, she had a suggestion for podnapping.
Yep.
And she said, hi, boys. After Nelson and I were chatting, how do you know this random person?
Just do.
How Nelson and I were chatting about when it is the right time to tell someone that you were dating and don't want to have kids, I thought of a potential segment for podnapping. One of my weekly podcasts is Savage Love, which is a sex and relationship advice podcast. I like it because the questions can get pretty weird. Given my boyfriend is a host of the show, oh, wait a minute. Oh. This is Stacy.
No, I'm also dating a Stacy.
Oh, right. Okay, cool. I'm not super keen on submitting a question of my own. Thank God. But I've taken the liberty of digging up some questions from Dan Savage's column. Happy to take your pick or do them all, time permitting. Very keen to hear the quality of your advice. Hoping the iPad is fixed this episode. Well, now, Stacey, you will have just heard the podnapping theme, and you feel quite the fool now, I imagine.
Yeah, probably.
So she's actually sent in 3 scenarios, but okay. I picked the one that I like the most.
Okay,
which is scenario 1.
Okay.
And this is a bit of advice someone was asking Dan Savage for his podcast, but we've napped it and we're doing it on our podcast. Dear Dan, oh, she's done that wrong. No, I'm a late 20s woman. I'm dating a wonderful, really lovely, smart, generous person who is in an open relationship. Already, a cocked eyebrow, but not completely like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's all really cool. I'm stoked about everything that's going on. And the one thing is that he does have a Hitler mustache. I don't ever want to be the person that tells anybody what to do with their body, particularly their body hair. Why particularly their body hair?
Because I feel like it's imposed on women a lot more.
Right, okay. Yep,
Yeah.
makes sense. But I hate it. I'm Jewish. They're not Jewish, and it really weirds me out. I want them to do whatever they want with their bodies, but I'm inviting them to come with me to a Hanukkah party.
Oh, God.
I feel like I have to warn my friends and be like, they're not a Nazi. This person says that they always liked the look, and if we're not allowed to have that mustache anymore, then Hitler wins.
What?
What can I do?
Hitler doesn't win? What are you on about? That's the stupidest argument to that. Oh, well, Hitler bloody wins then, doesn't he? If we can't...
If it can't invade Poland anymore, then Hitler bloody wins, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Like, you have to do... If you don't do exactly what Hitler does, then he's won.
Yeah. Hitler aside... Mm-hmm. Yes, I understand that it was a mustache that was trendy in, like, the 20s.
Yeah.
Hitler wasn't the only person to ever have them, that famously he had one.
Yeah.
But any douchebag that's growing a mustache that was trendy in the 20s as some kind of, like, post-ironic thing... No.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Hitler aside, it's a shit mustache.
Yeah, even if he had one of those little pencil mustaches that every villain in like a Jeeves and Wooster novel has.
Yeah.
That's still bad. It's not as bad as a Hitler mustache. He's chosen the worst one.
Yeah. And you know what? Okay. This is going to make me sound very vain and shallow.
Yeah.
But she's like, I don't want to tell everybody how to look with their body and especially hair. If somebody had a weird looking anything, I'm inclined to be like, maybe you're not for me, you know? If you got a weird...
Your personal choices don't necessarily align with my personal choices.
Yeah.
And maybe is that a signal?
Yeah, that's right. Then now I know you're not... The Hitler mustache isn't working.
Yeah.
You're a woman, for one. That's weird. But yeah, I just feel like, okay, maybe that's super shallow. But I just feel like sometimes, humans, I feel like we try to pretend like we don't judge people on their looks as much as we really do.
Right.
You know, like if somebody asks us directly, like, no, looks don't really matter. But they really do, obviously.
I think it would be different if it was something that was involuntary. Like maybe he had like a big mole on his foot or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's kind of sensitive because obviously it wasn't his choice. But he has chosen
to
grow that mustache.
when it's a choice as well.
And clearly you have raised the concern with him because he said, well, if I bloody show that Hitler wins, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is the dumbest thing ever. Why didn't you instantly call them out on that? That is the stupidest argument.
If someone thinks that way,
then
they're an idiot.
Yeah.
And that should be unattractive too.
Yeah. I think this person is just the way that they talk about, like, they're in an open relationship, and that's great.
Yeah.
I think that is... This person is, like, covering for a not good relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's what... I'm reading between the lines and maybe not at all. But I just feel like they were like, oh, they've given me the Hitler wins argument. That's a valid thing. In an open relationship, not by choice, but sure. I feel like they're just smitten with the wrong person.
Right.
And it'll pass. They should dump that person.
But it would be like, if we can't have the mustache, Hitler wins. Which isn't true. It just needs to know that you invite the comparison a lot. Because you could technically say, like, the swastika was like an appropriated symbol by the Nazis. Like, well, you can't wear a swastika. Oh, well, if you can't wear a swastika, the Nazis win. It's like, no. It's just now become associated with them, and you need to know that is an implication of wearing that.
Yeah. That's right. So... dump him? Is that our advice?
Yeah, I think our advice is to dump him.
Is that? Yeah, we're giving advice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember what we had to do.
This is how you do it.
Yeah.
You say to him, do you think we're in a relationship? And he says, well, yeah, don't you? And you say, 9.
Good.
Yeah, so it's pretty good.
And as a doubly good, you get into 9 relationships. There's so many layers to that.
So many layers.
Okay. Thank you for that, Stacey.
Yes.
And I guess, Cambo, sort of.
Well, I mean, I read it.
You did read it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we can get into Ask Me Anything. We're listeners of the show, just like you, listener. You can ask us anything you want. I sort of had Stacey's as an AMA. So,
I mean, she's given us multiple situations.
Maybe
would you
we
like
could
to read
do
another
one as a thing.
Okay.
And then,
well, I tell you what, I read her first, so I'll read the first email, then you can read Stacey's second.
Okay.
Okay?
But I haven't read her.
I'll maybe go the third. The third one, I think, is shorter.
Okay, all right.
And weirder.
Okay.
Okay, so we have an email here from Cousin Rowan. Different Cousin Rowan, unrelated.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I've made the mistake again. It says, gentlemen, your recent discussion regarding solitaire reminded me of when I visited the library recently and saw someone playing solitaire on a computer. Is that the new definition of rock bottom, where you literally have nothing better to do with your time than go to a public library and play solitaire?
That is mental. Can you please tell me in what scenario you would have to be in your life to be like, got nothing to do today, might go down to the library, play some solitaire?
Yeah, if I had nothing to do and I went to the library, I'd read a book.
Read a book? It's like solitaire.
It's funny to go there and be like, oh, books, no thanks. Why'd you go to the library, dickhead?
Yeah.
Anyway, you recently mentioned Catch Me If You Can, which reminded me that Frank Abagnale, Leonardo DiCaprio's character in the movie, is my claim to fame as he is a friend of my father. AMA, or is it really Frank Abagnale? He's a con man. It might be someone else pretending to be him.
Who's an even better con man?
You can never trust him.
Because he's pretending.
Yeah. That would be the ultimate con. AMA.
Maybe his dad is Frank Abagnale.
Oh, my God. Because he is Rowan Abagnale, now that I think about it. Putting these together. AMA 67.0. Who is your claim to fame? Cheers, Cousin Rowan.
Welly. It's funny that Cousin Rowan should say this, because even though he's not my cousin.
Yeah.
Or is
he? Who does?
I use that as my claim to fame. Sometimes.
Frank Abagnale.
Like when it comes in conversation, I say, oh, did you know
a family member or friend
or somebody I don't know?
Yeah.
You know, he's like my uncle knows Frank Abagnale and that. And then probably when I was younger, I made up lies like, oh yeah, he taught him how to steal money. Yeah.
And he met Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
When he made that movie about him.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah,
you use Frank Abagnale as your claim to fame.
Yeah, sort of. Like, I mean, I know I'm really stretching it.
That's pretty tangential. Even for Rowan, it's tangential.
Yeah.
But
so for me,
you, boy. You need a new claim to fame.
Next level, yeah.
I don't have one. I used to, and I don't have the evidence to back this up. I could find it if I knew this was coming up.
Yeah.
But I don't have a claim to fame. But I was in a band in high school, and we somehow got Matt Damon to do a plug for our band.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
We bombarded him at the premiere of The Bourne Ultimatum.
Okay.
And we're like, please, Mr. Damon, now this is our band name. Can you do a plug? And he was like, okay.
So you just filmed him?
Yep, I filmed it on a point-and-shoot digital camera.
Yeah.
Look, the audio's pretty messy.
What did he say exactly?
Because this is what I love about high school bands is their names.
Yeah.
Our names was Lights in Atlantis.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
And he said,
if you became really famous, I think people would appreciate that name.
I disagree. He said
it's no better than like Green Day.
He said yes, true. He said to camera, hey, Lights in Atlantis rock.
That's so funny. Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's
really
good.
It's what you want, I guess.
That's not the first person you've bombarded.
No, it's almost my thing.
It was the first person, probably. But
not the only person.
you have also bombarded Steve Carell in a.
That's true. Yeah,
line,
I
which
got yelled at by Steve Carell. For trying to force him into, essentially, I tried to force him into giving his blessing for something he had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And
what it was, you were trying to get him to do improv without him knowing that he was getting into an improv thing. It was kind of like, you were kind of trying to be like, go along with this. He was not having a bar of it.
I could probably find that clip if you bear with me. But the context is, I was hosting a work awards night for the local theatre that we worked at down in the southeast suburbs. And we thought, we had heard, a site had emailed us saying, oh my God, we have the premiere of Crazy Stupid Love tonight and we don't have enough popcorn boxes. Can you guys help us out? And we're like, yeah. Who's going to be at the premiere? And then we all collectively went, oh, this is great. We'll go there for the awards night as a joke.
Yeah.
As if we were going to be one of the presenters. But here's what we've discovered about a red carpet. If you have a camera and a microphone and some confidence, they'll just let you in. So we were led into the media pit, realizing that they all had a list of celebrities, who's attending, questions they want to ask. And we were there with some employee names that we were like, do you think Jessica will win the award tonight? And then hand the microphone across to them. And I went up to Steve Carell and I think I was like, who do you think will win the award? And he was having none of it.
Yeah. I remember he was saying, well, if you're going to get the clip, maybe I'll just wait.
But I'm loading it, so please provide some context.
So Cambo leans over a crowd of people and says, hey, Steve. And he looks up and he's like, oh, this guy's got a microphone. He must be legit.
Yeah. And it's definitely not a video microphone that you plug to a camera with a piece of laminated paper on it. That can't be it. Why would he be allowed on?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I found the clip, Nelson. Are you ready?
Okay.
You'll have to forgive. I believe you're going to get a little bit of Stephen Curry at the start of this.
Okay.
Just largely ignore that.
Okay.
Should we tear the whole place apart?
Well, you know what? I wouldn't blame you. Steve, I just wanted to know, who do you think is going to win the Knoxlow Award this year?
I have no idea. Oh, now you're just setting me up. You're just setting me up. You know I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, well, you've been following the Knoxlow, obviously.
This is just gibberish to me, and you understand that.
You didn't watch the Knoxlow Award last year?
It sounds like pops and hisses. It just...
We're very official. We've got a sign and everything.
All it sounds like is blah, 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 blah.
It's not far off, I'll be honest.
I can't even respond.
So there is...
That's
is that my claim to fame?
Because I think that's your claim to fame, but also it makes me realize at the start he was kind of I feel like a bit jovial, you're just trying to say, blah, blah, blah. But then you keep going and he's like, I don't know what to do.
There's a point where he snaps.
Yeah, he's like, it's like, what? What are you doing? What are you trying to do? What do you want me to say? I don't know how to go on. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, the lesson from this is don't bombard celebrities.
Don't do it.
It's not a cool thing to do.
Or do it.
It's good content.
You can get a claim to fame. Okay, I've got another claim to fame.
Okay.
I was on the plane and
that is good.
I saw. I walked past the first class section and walked past Martin Lawrence.
Oh yeah, one half of the Bad Boys.
No, wrong person.
No,
because it's Lawrence. I think. Who's Morpheus?
Lawrence Fishburne.
I knew there was a Lawrence in there. Okay, good.
I'm going to chalk that up to you not being good with actors, Nelson.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm impressed that I got the Lawrence part of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, And I walked past him while he was sitting down, and you could tell he was like, "Oh fuck! Why did they sit me down first?"
Yeah.
It's like they should have got me from the first class lounge after everybody else had boarded.
Yeah.
Because it was clear that everybody
was looking
at him, and because we were kind of quickly going by, everybody I think was just like wide-eyed at him for half a second.
So did the line? Like, was the flow of the line a lot slower when you walked past him and then sped up to normal speed again?
No, not quite. Because I think, like, some people maybe... He was, like, right at the front. So it was kind of...
Was he the one being like, what's your seat number? Yeah. That's down to the left.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, cool. Are you Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah.
No, I'm Martin Lawrence.
Yeah. But I remember the funniest thing I thought was... So, like, obviously, I only saw him for... less than probably 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And when leaving the plane, there was a lady in front of me, and we got up to where his seats were. She looks at her partner, smiles, reaches over, and grabs an empty water bottle, and then like looks at her partner again, like, I've got a water bottle that Lawrence Fishburne could have drunk from. And then left the plane. And the funny thing was, like, he was with somebody else.
Yeah.
So there is still a 50% chance that it wasn't even his.
It's just his wife's.
Yeah, exactly.
So this belonged to Lawrence Fishburne or his wife. So,
yeah. That's
Mrs. Fishburne.
That's when I knew people are insane when they meet, famous people.
Before we wrap up, and I won't go into detail, but I was recently in New York, and I might have seen, and that's an asterisk, might have seen TJ Miller from Silicon Valley.
Oh.
Don't know if it's him. I'll say this. He plays
Claim
Ehrlich,
it. Claim
the
it.
guy with the curly hair, the kind of fat guy. Either the homeless man looked a lot like him, or he's not doing so well.
Yeah. Or he looked like a lot like a homeless man.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yeah.
Maybe I saw TJ Miller. Is that a claim to fame?
That's great.
Yeah, thanks.
Good work. All right. I feel like I could go really obscure with my claim to fame, so I think we should stop.
Okay.
Right there.
I said I maybe saw a C-grade celebrity, so
Yeah.
I think that's as tangential and shitty as we'll get.
I was going to go for I auditioned for The Boy from Oz, which Hugh Jackman played the boy from Oz. So I played the younger version of him. Yeah. Well, I mean, I auditioned to play the younger version of him. Yeah. So is that my claim to fame?
To be clear, at the audition, Hugh Jackman wasn't there.
He wasn't there.
Yeah, right.
But by God, Campy, if I had got that role, I would have met him. Yeah. So there's that.
That's good.
Think about that.
Good. You've got us to our lowest point.
All right, we could do another one, but I think we've gone too long, so we'll just end the episode here.
Okay.
Thank you for writing in, Stacey and Rowan. Maybe we can do one of the other ones Stacey did next week or something. Yeah. Thank you for writing in. If you would like to write in to us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast @gmail.com.
Yep.
You can also reach us at Facebook, at Twitter, and our subreddit. They're all READIT podcast. And we'd also really love it if you could subscribe and rate us on whatever podcast app you're listening to.
If you're rich, heat up a bunch of 50-cent coins and send them to us.
Yeah.
We'll pick them up. To your amusement.
I will burn my hands for any amount of money. Anyway, so thanks for listening, and we will read you later.